topics, that's for sure. But let's see, what else we got? In this next topic, well, we're going to talk about Tesla and maybe a semi-negative piece on this, but we're going to talk about Tesla and how the automaker of the future and how Tesla has changed the game is somewhat reverting or going back to old dealer tactics. We'll talk about what I feel like they might be doing a little bit of sleight of hand on multiple cases, and how they have definitely been a dealer of the future and selling cars a different way, but they're kind of succumbing to a lot of tactics that older dealers do in the old game. But we'll talk about it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description, where you can get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide with all the different credit unions and banks at the lower interest rates. So definitely check out Patreon link down below in the description. But let us talk about this. So the first thing that I have realized and noticed in these past couple weeks about Tesla, or at least these past 6 months, where we talked about all the different pricing strategies for Teslas and monitoring the pricing market, is that Tesla is reverting to as of yesterday, a sale price versus MSRP strategy. Of course, the MSRP is staying consistent and the same, which a lot of different automakers and companies do out there. They keep the MSRP price the same, but the sales price, it fluctuates a lot, especially going on right now as we talk about the inventory discounts that's happening on all Model 3s. And what I mean by here is, like, the MSRP is posted on the website right now. You can see Model 3 standard range, long range, and performance at various prices. But if you go to the inventory pages, this is waitingfortesla.com, where you can see all the different inventory that's posted across all the different websites. You can see that the inventory price, or the sales price, or the price that you're actually going to pay, is a lower price than the MSRP price that is out there. Of course, all the other automakers do this currently. The MSRP price is not necessarily what you will pay unless it's a in-demand vehicle. And there's also on top of various incentives that the manufacturer could put on it. And you've probably heard of the word invoice. That happens with a lot of different other vehicles out there. I'm talking like Jeep, Toyota, Ford, BMW, Mercedes, all these different companies out there. You don't necessarily pay the MSRP price, and you could negotiate off of that and get down to a lower price. So I would say one of my first things there is that Tesla is reverting to an MSRP price versus sale price. And maybe granted, maybe this is because of the current inventory situation and how there is a bunch of inventory that they potentially could be clearing. But going back to that, I mean, there's inventory discounts on every single model right now. Model S, $5,000, Model X, $5,000, Model Y, another $400 to $500, maybe $510 off. And so that is certainly a thing. Like, Tesla could be reverting back to that, or Tesla could be using old dealer tactics for that. And a little bit of caveat before we get into the second and third point. I am certainly a Tesla fan. We've had the Model 3, the Model Y, S, and X, and that's also why we created this channel, right? I want to try and educate, to try and get everybody a good deal on a Tesla, because at the end of the day, Teslas are expensive vehicles. Model 3, $40,000, Model Y, $50,000 to $55,000. That's a lot of money. And there's certainly a lot of different hacks or different ways to get around it, to get a better deal, a better interest rate, and also incentives that potentially that not a lot of people might be aware about. So that's why we created this channel, to try and highlight every single bit, every single rate change, every single pricing change, to figure out what is the best way to get you into a Tesla. And of course, we can monitor it, because we want to also keep buying Teslas as well. But the second thing where I feel like Tesla might be reverting back or reverting to old dealer tactics is hidden incentives. They don't necessarily make it too known. They don't post about it a lot. Like, most people have to dig and find it, like we do ourselves. And you can see a bunch of people on Twitter post about, but even about even about like option credits and where you could potentially get an added extra discount based upon if you are looking to get rims or paint or something like that. And there's always end of month or end of quarter discounts as well. So incentives, they could maybe do a better job with making it clear. They do try their best from time to time by posting on the website. And like right now, there's a 7,500 federal tax credit that qualifies on the Model 3 and Model Y, but that's not necessarily their incentive. And then Model S and X, right now, there's free supercharging for the Model S and X for 3 years on that, and then they had the lower rate, and then they took away the rate. So maybe if there was a better place for them to incentivize more, but I guess maybe that's not necessarily a bigger problem. But the third thing where I feel like Tesla could be coming out with reverting to old dealer tactics is financing markup. As you've seen on the channel, we talk about interest rates for financing a Tesla, and Tesla has been steadily increasing their interest rate slowly by slowly. Right now it's up to 5.69%. And they also took away, there was one page within Tesla where you could take a look at all the different lease APR rates and things like that. If you're a follower of the channel, you know we used to highlight that, because at one point leasing a Tesla was like a Tesla Model 3 was like as low as 1.9% or something like that. But they took it away now. So a little bit of a less transparency, but right now for financing a Tesla, a Model 3, Model Y, S, or even X, it's up to 5.69%, and that was a slight bump or increase from yesterday at 5.59%. So that's kind of the third thing. Traditionally, other dealers will mark up interest rates or financing to have a little bit of profit center, and so I guess the thing here is that everybody pays the same interest rate at the end of the day with Tesla, unless you use outside financing and use a credit union like we promote on the channel. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know what you're thinking. Even though Tesla is, not a dealership, there are certain strategies that I feel like they are using or incorporating that feel a little bit dealership-like. I mean, the good thing is there's all the data is posted. There's plenty of people out there tracking all this stuff. Like for instance, this is a Tesla car price history tracker that tracks all the different prices across the board for all the different models. And you can see as early as January of this year, the Model Y long range was $66,000. And today, if you factor in inventory pricing, because it's a $500 less, it's $50,000 flat. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know what you're thinking. We're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is the Patreon link where you can support the channel. And there's a variety of benefits, so definitely check it out if you're interested.